The 9th episode of the 2nd season of X-Men 97 is finally here. After a week, this episode comes to us with images from the story of En-Sabah-Nur and all the pain and betrayals he had to go through to become Apocalypse. Now the biggest villain of the entire saga is trapped inside Remy's mind, and the Professor is sure that if they don't act now, they won't be able to stop him. And there is another person who thinks the same way. This is Cable, whom we remember from the previous episode, making a new truce with X-Factor. That morning, Cable is telling them that the person who raised him told him his destiny was to destroy Apocalypse, and that he should not hesitate to fulfill this mission. For years, he repeated to him that he should not try to understand him or reason with him, only destroy him. And now that this villain has decided to hide inside the mind of one of the Professor's pets, it is time to attack. Apocalypse's power has a very clear signal that he has memorized, and right now, he is inside Gambit's body. So there is only one option for this. He must die, because if he waits much longer, Apocalypse will take control of his body. And someone who knows this perfectly is Rogue, who is on a mission with her friends into the depths of the ocean to find a way to save the man she loves. The ship moves slowly through the vastness of the other vessel, and it enters inside through the tunnels until reaching a point where they can descend. There, we discover that this is the ship Apocalypse used, and in which they were just over 5,000 years ago, when he still had the body of a man. Beast reboots the ship's motherboard, and she welcomes them, so now they just need to ask her what they need, and perhaps get a clear answer. However, she tells them that Apocalypse was forged by a celestial force. If they try to destroy him, they might anger beings that go beyond their comprehension. But since they are willing to pay the price, the ship shows them the Celestial Temple, the place where En-Sabah-Nur entered and emerged as Apocalypse, a sacrifice Rogue is willing to make, as long as she can save Gambit. As she approaches the Power Stone, her skin begins to tear apart, and the scene immediately shifts to Gambit, whose vital signs are fluctuating. But that's not all. A massive ship approaches the building, and inside it comes Cooper, who has several demands they must fulfill if they want to avoid a conflict. Cooper makes it clear that she is aware of the great threat kept behind their doors, and although Charles tries to tell her that it is currently contained, she doesn't plan to leave the fate of the world in his hands, so the solution is very clear. Charles must hand over Gambit, and it must be done immediately, or Cooper will take him by force, including every X-Man who opposes this order. Since Charles is not willing to give in so easily, Cooper cuts communications, and, with Cable's help, they destroy the electromagnetic field. This allows the team to see that Cable is on that ship, and they are about to face X-Factor and X-Force. So it's time to kill two birds with one stone, but this won't be easy at all, as Cooper's ship is packed with Sentinels, and the X-Men already know very well how difficult it is to face those things. One by one, the Sentinels begin to activate, and a massive battle is about to break out. That is why the Professor has sent Polaris and Bishop to defend the infirmary, while the rest of the team faces Cooper, or at least makes an attempt to stop her. The battle starts quickly and is quite chaotic. Meanwhile, the Professor tries to use Cerebro to locate Rogue, but she is in a world far more complex than he could comprehend, and he has failed in his mission. It is here that we see her appear in a completely white space, but a second later, an image of one of the Celestials manifests. The first thing it tells her is that she does not belong here, nor does the gem on her chest. Moments later, Rogue sees how the gem of power, which Gambit took from the external, leaves her body and shatters into a million pieces. She tells it that she is here because she ran out of options. The man she loves was possessed by the monster they created, and she just wants a way to stop him. But the massive cosmic being simply tells her that life can only evolve at the expense of other lives, not through mercy. Apocalypse's existence is necessary, and if her friend cannot survive, the world will grow stronger through his loss. This is his purpose. Rogue becomes enraged and tries to attack the most powerful being we have seen, but with every strike she tries to land, her body continues to take damage, as if it were burning. And this being tells her that she cannot fight against the impossible, yet she still doesn't stop. Eson the Searcher becomes interested in Rogue's willingness to sacrifice her life out of the love she feels for this man, and he tells her that if she truly wants to stop Apocalypse, then she must sacrifice her life. He asks her if she is willing to take that risk. When she says yes, the gem that gave Apocalypse his power shatters into a million pieces, and they adhere to her body, granting her a new transformation. Outside, Beast and Nightcrawler have been waiting patiently, but the ship is sinking and they need to get out of there. Luckily, Rogue emerges from the temple with a new appearance and a power she didn't have before. Her entire body has been empowered by celestial energy, and now she has the strength to stop Apocalypse, although she lacks the courage to tell her friends that her life will be lost in this final battle. That was the deal Eson the Searcher offered her. Back at the X-Corp building, the battle continues, and the heroes find themselves vastly outnumbered, as the mechs are giving them a lot of trouble. Furthermore, X-Factor has found a way to enter the building and breach the force field, so Storm has no other choice. She must use a massive amount of her power. She summons a gigantic whirlwind, like a storm of lightning, allowing her to destroy many Sentinels. But Cooper has many more ready for launch. When the building's force field finally collapses, Cooper gives Cable the order to act. It is time for him to deliver the finishing blow to Apocalypse, so he leaps from the deck carrying a massive weapon in his hands, firing a relentless wave of energy at the building, blasting through the roof. The shot is so devastating that it melts the floor, allowing Cable to drop through the levels directly into the infirmary. However, his parents are there, and although Cyclops knows that attacking his son wouldn't be a good idea, he is prepared to do so. Jean tries to appeal to her son's good side, telling him that they can not only stop Apocalypse, but also save Gambit. He just needs to give them some time, as they are looking for a solution. But even though Cable hesitates for a second, his destiny has always been this moment, and even they helped shape him into who he is now, so he is not willing to back down, not after watching Apocalypse murder billions of people while they weren't there to witness it all. Our anti-hero raises his weapon and prepares to shoot his parents, but Cyclops fires first, and Cable has no choice but to defend himself using his own arms to withstand the blast. At the same time, on another side of the ship, Logan is tracking some intruders. Using his sense of smell, he manages to find Psylocke and engages in a battle against her and Archangel. But just when they thought they had Logan cornered, it turns out to be Morph, and the real Logan attacks them from behind, taking Psylocke by surprise and nearly knocking her out, though she uses her psychic copies to confuse him for a few seconds. However, despite her running her power through his skull, Logan has long known how to respond to these kinds of attacks. As time passes and the battle intensifies, we can see that the monitor connected to Gambit starts malfunctioning, as a battle is also being waged inside his mind. The battle that will decide whether his body still belongs to him or will be surrendered to Apocalypse. Outside, Jubilee steals the X-Men's ship to try to defend them, but Havoc appears in a very similar one, and now she must face him in aerial combat to pay him back for all the injustices he inflicted on her when she was his prisoner. Havoc unleashes a hail of shots against the girl, and although he only tries to destabilize her and disable her ship, Jubilee responds with impressive maneuvers, firing flares at just the right moment and successfully dodging the missiles. But this isn't over. Havoc starts targeting her engines, and she only has seconds before they manage to shoot her down. On the control panel, Jubilee sees the missile closing in, leaving her with no choice but to hit the ejection button and unleash a massive blast of pyrotechnic heat at Havoc, causing his own missile to curve back toward him, forcing him to use his power through the glass to destroy it. Although this saves his life, it severely damages his ship, meaning Jubilee has won this fight and proven to him that she is no longer a foolish child. On the other hand, the rest of X-Factor has finally reached the infirmary, where they discover that the only ones there to stop them are Bishop and Polaris. Outnumbered 4-2, they stand little chance, and Polaris is eventually subdued. The surprise comes when, as she suffers immense pain, a card appears and pins itself to the floor, giving her a split second to cover herself with a shield before it detonates. It sends a massive energy blast down the entire corridor, and when the smoke clears, we see Gambit standing ready to face them. Thanks to his help, the battle stabilizes, and X-Factor ends up defeated. This causes Cooper to lose her patience and order Cable to act immediately, since Gambit's mind won't contain Apocalypse forever, and it is time for him to fulfill his destiny. But Cable is quite busy, as his parents have joined forces to stop him, and it's not easy to defeat the people who taught him almost everything he knows. Fortunately, Cable's hard past has taught him a few tricks that serve him now, and using his power, he manages to snatch his father's visor. Now Cyclops cannot attack him without risking harm to his wife and everyone else. After charging his fist with all his power for a couple of seconds, Cable strikes the floor, unleashing a massive energy explosion that impacts much of the building, including its foundations. What used to be the X-Men's offices is now just a pile of rubble, and Cable appears at the exact right moment to attack Polaris and take her out long enough to murder Gambit. Although the professor exits Cerebro a second before, he lacks the ability to enter Cable's mind and alter his actions. So Cable simply raises his weapon, aims at Gambit's head, and doesn't hesitate for a single second before pulling the trigger. Through the cameras, Cooper can see that they succeeded in their mission, or so it seems, because once Gambit dies, an enormous power erupts from his body, and Apocalypse's eyes can be seen after all. On the monitor, Cooper sees that the celestial energy levels have crossed 100%, and Gambit's body floats into the air, revealing a much darker version of him, one completely taken over by Apocalypse. Now, all the mutants who were fighting minutes ago must unite to face a new enemy, a fused version of Apocalypse and Gambit wielding a massive scythe of dark energy, planning to kill them all. With a single strike of his scythe, the new Apocalypse defeats everyone present, and Cable cannot believe his mission failed. That instead of fixing everything, he ended up unleashing a far worse power. And that's not all. The dark energy surging from the scythe enters everyone's bodies and takes control of them, so now they are no longer Charles's X-Men, but Apocalypse's A-Men. Each of the professor's beloved students can no longer hear him because they serve a much greater power, a power he will not be able to stop, and it is time for him to accept defeat. However, backed into a corner, the professor still stands firm and tells him he won't win, not while there are still good people willing to fight against evil. And this is where Rogue appears. Her landing releases a massive cloud of energy that frees all her friends from the trance. In her new form and with her new power, she pauses for just a second to take off her gloves, and Apocalypse knows she is different, yet there is nothing he can do to stop her. Rogue lunges at him and places her hand on his face, successfully extracting all the evil and trapping it in her hands. A second later, she begins compressing it with all her strength, triggering a massive battle of energy that concludes with a blinding white halo consuming everything. At the end of this, we see a gem in her hands containing the face of Apocalypse, revealing that she has managed to contain him. She then places the gem in Cable's hands, as he is the person who fought hardest for this moment and surely knows exactly what to do with it, so it can never harm anyone again. Before Cable can thank her, Gambit's voice calls her attention. He was certain she would come to rescue him, and they join in a kiss. As this happens, the celestial power leaves her body, having fulfilled its purpose. It is at this moment that Rogue realizes she doesn't have much time to say goodbye, as she made a deal and her sacrifice is imminent. However, a second later, Beast lands, and we see that he holds Nightcrawler's Bible in his hands. The young man entered the temple and offered his life in exchange for Rogue's, hoping this sacrifice would serve as a seed to nourish everyone, so they know that good can always be done. Nightcrawler's final words express his hope that with his end, the world can become much better and that his friends will cherish every day as a blessing. As he fades away, we see scenes of a happy world where the X-Men learn together and protect one another. The episode and season come to an end with happy imagery, but with the certainty that Nightcrawler will not return, as he chose to sacrifice his life for a greater good, allowing Rogue to reunite with Gambit and giving all his brothers a new chance to start over. In a post-credits scene, we see that Graydon Creed has won the country's presidency, and his anti-mutant agenda is more powerful than ever. After that, in Cooper's office, someone identical to her decides to steal her files, and when Cooper opens the door, she is shot in the abdomen, revealing the intruder to be Mystique, who has launched her war against humans and raises her weapon to execute Val Cooper. With the gunshot that ends the life of X-Factor's leader, the scene fades to black.